Thanks so much for coming in. I know we were talking off air then about when Greg and I first wanted to sort of start this podcast, you know, chatting with interesting people who've got interesting stories, who've maybe made successes of themselves. You were really right up there. We're not just saying that. We don't say that to all the guests, by the way.
Just blowing smoke off my ass here now, aren't you?
No,
Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yes.
Okay,
because
I'm quite sweary.
So, yeah, you were right up there because I think in the age that we're living in now and how prominent social media is, you were one of the first people who sort of, locally anyway, who I'm aware of, who legitimately turned what was effectively a banter or a meme account into a legitimate business outside of social media. Loads of people have got social media businesses. So it's an amazing story. And was that always the plan? How did it all come about? And
no,
what was that thinking behind it from day one?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'd class myself as, God, I don't even know what I'd class myself as. I suppose I don't really have like a definition, but maybe a blogger. Yeah. I don't blog that much anymore. I do more like videos and that now because, you know, can't be asked. But I suppose I'd class myself as a blogger. And when I first started out, that was not a career choice. That did not exist. Whereas now, you know, there are people out there who make a legitimate, career out of being a blogger. And some people will try and get into the career of blogging. Whereas when I started like 7 years ago, that wasn't a career. And I really had to struggle to get people to take me seriously. So when I started out, it really was just a bit of fun. And I had the blog anyway. I was writing about, you know, being hungover with my mates every Sunday morning because you know how everything's just funnier when you're hungover, don't you? So we used to just write about that. It was called Handbag Vodka. And then I started the Scousebird page. Again, it was just a bit of fun. I think it was like an offhand tweet about my eyebrows being wonky. Yeah. And it was around the time when Desperate Scousewives was on the telly, so there was a bit of a zeitgeist around that. And then the two just sort of went together. And then I did, after about 6 months, I started getting offering like freebies and stuff. Like people had offered to send me like out for a free meal or like, I don't know, free hairbands or bobbles. Like it started off really small. And then I'd started deciding to charge for things and people were saying, yeah. But it was still quite a struggle because a lot of people would say, well, no, it's only a tweet. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, you can get a load of leaflets printed and they're not going to get out to the same amount of people as what I can put it out to instantly. And then it did start sort of getting serious with it. I took advice off some people who were in business. And then I left my job. And I've been doing it full time now since 2013, late 2013.
Do you know that initial hustling when you were just saying to people, but yeah, this is better than leaflets?
Yeah.
Was that just intuitive? Did you just kind of sense this is better than leaflets? Or did you go and do like a degree in marketing or did you
No, you know what, right? I had a mate at the time. She actually run another account called Old Scousebird, but her name was Jen and she was a marketing lecturer in the University of Liverpool. Yeah. And she said, there's things you know that my students after 3 years don't know. And I just kind of knew it, like things like branding and colours and things like that. So if I was going to do anything, I'd make sure that I was using the same colour as was in my logo or the same font as in my logo. And I said, you know, it's all about keeping it all in with your brands. Or I'd
uniformity.
say, or I'd say, no, Scousebird wouldn't say that. Or yes, Scousebird would say that. Or that's not right for me. That is right for me. And it was just a intuitive thing. I don't know how I knew it. I just did. Yeah. I felt a bit like every job that I'd done leading up to that had kind of prepared me in a way. Because when I grew up, when I was growing up, if you'd asked me what I wanted to be, like a lot of people will say like, oh, I want to be a fireman or an astronaut or whatever. Mine was always a writer or a model. But, you know, I like food far too much for that. So I always wanted to be a writer, but I never really got into it because, to be honest, I mean, you're a journalist, aren't you, Greg? Yeah. At the time I did try and get into it, but then I realised the money was shite. Yes. So I was like, nah.
I'll drink to that.
You're all right, mate.
It's terrible.
So I got into sales instead and I earned a lot of money doing that. Like, so I worked in Phones for You for quite a while and I was really, really good at that. I was like, you know, top of the area for sales and things. And then I worked in a bank and I started doing like auditing in the bank. So that was all about being organised and, you know, building relationship with customers and things. And there was a time when I worked out on the street, you know, doing that charity thing where they wear a bib and they try and get you to sign up to that. I mean, that was like really aggressive, you know, marketing and things like that. So yeah, and then also when I worked for the bank as well, it was Barclays. and they're really big on branding, and they used to have like, you know, branding workshops all the time where they wanted to be the go-to bank for this, the go-to bank for that. So I suppose some of that must have stuck in. So, you know, I learned like me hard selling from like Phones for You and
that charity
the charity
stuff, mate,
thing. It's to be a bit hard-faced and to be a bit cheeky and just to go, well, pay me or no type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the branding thing and the organisation and the auditing and things like that I learned from the bank. So it all kind of brought me back round to doing what I love for a living. But instead of having to apply for a job to do that, I just made one. And being Scousebird's whatever I want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's why I suppose I'm still around, because what I do now is not the same as what I did 7 years ago. It's completely different. And if I see something I like, I just think, I'll do that. I'll make that a Scousebird thing. Like I started the podcast back in March. So that's just what it felt like doing.
It is the branding, it is the uniformity, which you're right, but also you're very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's got to be
share too much.
a huge bit of a feel, yeah. You know, and you're not afraid to. One thing I noticed, by the way, which is real positive, is you're not one of these people who's like, "Hi guys." You just straight in.
That was too relatable to someone else that's there at the moment.
Yeah. So yeah,
that was a good impression, actually.
That was a good impression. But yeah.
So you know, you're so relatable, and I suppose even from the off, when you started Scousebird Problems and you're talking about your wonky eyebrows and stuff, you know, you were then, and you still are now. You haven't sort of forgotten that. So
it's all about self-deprecation, I suppose. I'm not afraid to talk about, you know, things that we're not supposed to talk about. Like, you know, maybe I think I put up a meme today, but the caption I put with it was something about picking your bogeys and wiping them somewhere. Like, who's going to admit to doing that?
Yeah.
But I bet a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So
I suppose when you've got a guys as well early on, you can get away with more shit because it's not like you. So when you were still working, you had like your office job and stuff like that, or you're working at Phones for You. Was there a sort of time where you thought, did you set yourself a deadline where, I tell you what, I'm gonna out myself, it's gonna be Steph from now on? Because at first there was an old interview with the Echo that I read, and you were like, no, I'm not, I'm anonymous, I'm staying anonymous.
Well, I always wanted to stay anonymous. I really did. But my Facebook page got hacked back in 2017, around March, April 2017, and I lost about like 200,000 followers.
Oh wow!
Just like that.
Not an insignificant number.
No. Yeah. And literally almost a year before to the day, I'd lost 250,000 followers off Instagram. Similar thing. And when that's Instagram at that time was like,
you need to change your password. Was it like password 1?
No, it wasn't.
Let me in.
It got hacked in such a way that Facebook to this day denied that it could happen. And I'm like, I'm telling you now, it happened. That's how it happened, type of thing. But you know,
anyway,
if Facebook say it can't happen, then you know, whatever. But so when that's like your main source of income, like Instagram was my main source of income at the time when that got hacked, and I kind of had to do a bit of a business pivot and focus more on the shop rather than like the promotional and the advertising side of things. And then that made me, you know, grow the shop a bit more. And then when I lost the Facebook page, I knew I kind of had to do something drastic, because Facebook was where I got the most traffic for my shop. So although I still had that external income, I still needed to be able to drive people to it. And so I thought, right, what's going to get people's attention? I'll come out. That's what people want to know, who I am. So I was still anonymous up to that point. And,
when was this?
April 2017.
Oh, you're still
not that long ago, really.
No, only it really is only in the last 2 years, and I was very, very nervous about it.
I bet, yeah.
I felt like it was the right time to do it, and for the right reasons, but I knew like it could backfire in a massive way, so there was that risk. And to be fair, like there's a couple of people out there who've commented saying, you know, I preferred it when it was anonymous, but that has generally been, and I'm talking like I can count them on one hand. It really has. Most people would prefer that, but back in the day,
what are they saying, that your quality's dropped or something since?
Yeah, I suppose like some people just preferred not knowing. They found it funnier when they didn't know who was behind it, or
there's that mystique, I suppose, isn't
yeah,
there?
and then and some people, you know, will get the impression that I'm up myself or whatever, like I love myself, think I'm famous, and honestly I really don't. I find it very uncomfortable, because I do get people coming into the shop sometimes, or they'll stop me on the street and ask for a selfie, and I'm happy to do it because I'm not an asshole, but I feel very uncomfortable doing it at the same time. Like, I feel like, oh, it's just me. Like, I'm not a selfie person anyway. Like, I've never put up selfies or anything like that. I just don't think I'm quite of that generation. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think the selfie generation came maybe like a few years after me.
I feel you with that, yeah.
And
big time.
I feel it's like narcissistic. And, you know, like when I used to go out of a night, I used to take out like a camera, like a Kodak. And it's a bit weird taking a selfie of you with the Kodak. But
shout out
like,
Pitbull.
Yeah, exactly. But then a few years after that, people had like smartphones, so selfies just became the norm.
Yeah.
And although if I took loads of selfies, people probably wouldn't bat an eyelid. To me, I still feel like that cringe inside. Like, people are going to think I love myself.
Like, what face do I pull? Do a smile with teeth? Do a smile without? Do a pout?
Even if it's a good selfie and I'm really like feeling myself on it, it's like, it's one of those things where like I just don't take them. I don't take selfies, on that as well. Really.
And you see kids now who are like, just, it's so second nature to them because that's all they've seen. They just do it intuitively as, it's just cringe.
And you do see some people's like Instagram feeds, and it's just it's full of selfies, and it's just the same face on all of them. And
or even just a mirror one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take an occasional one, but I've usually got a reason behind it. Like, if I'm trying to promote a fashion company or something like that, then I'll have to take a picture of myself,
obviously,
with wearing that, or if I'm promoting a certain makeup or a hairband or something. But other than that, I will never post a selfie just for posting a selfie's sake. I don't do it. There'll always be a reason behind posting a selfie, and it's usually money.
Yeah. I mean, I see that, like, and I've never really thought of it as a sort of a couple of years before us generationally, because obviously we're the same age. But we were discussing it the other day in the gym, weren't we? Like, if I go to something, right, I might post a picture of the thing that I'm at that's interesting, whether that's like, you know, an architectural thing in a different country, or it's a concert, or anything like that. But then the next level of people, which is very common on social media, is they take a picture of them at the thing. Yeah,
like selfies at Auschwitz.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
Or like even them at the thing, but you can't even see the thing. It's just them. It's like night out with the girls, but it's you in your kitchen. And then it's like on holiday, and it's you in your kitchen on Aldi.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You know.
I
don't get it.
Nah, that Billie Eilish, she was only like 17, isn't she?
Yeah.
But when she was playing Saturday, she went to the crowd, did irony upon irony, given her age. She was like, you can film me if you want, but do me a favour, drop your phone so you can actually watch. Your phone can still film me. You don't have to be watching through your phone. We're having this moment, sounds a bit deep, like we're having this moment together now. You might never see me live again. I might never be in the same space as you again. Let's actually live it properly. And by all means, hold your phone there. And it's like, for someone 17 to be saying that, that's quite like...
I know, I feel like it's coming full circle a bit now, whereas people like are kind of like rejecting that side of things a bit more now. Yeah. It's like people have become obsessed with it, and now there's the kickback from it. But I do know what she means, because there's times when I've been at concerts and you just look and everybody's filming it through the phones, and it's like, come on, you know you're never going to watch that footage back ever.
Yeah,
you're literally never going to look at it again.
Yeah, not only will you
post it on your Instagram feed, but no one's going to watch it. They're going to flick past it.
No one cares.
No one see that fucking grainy, shitty sound footage fumbling round of like Elton John, a little dot of him, like, you know.
I know, but at the same time you can't help it, because like you want to remember it yourself, but it's like, so you'll film it, but by the same token you'll never look back at it. Like I went to see Jack Savaretti the other week, and I think I filmed him doing my favourite song, and then I stopped for the rest of it, because I kind of wants to be in there and appreciate it. But I tell you what, I've not watched that back. That was my favourite song. I've not watched it back. Like, why couldn't I just be in the moment? You know, if I want to listen to him, I'll put him on the, you know, the radio or whatever.
Yeah, or watch professional footage on YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll watch his official video.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think you know, you see it at concerts. I go to a lot of gigs, and you see it must be frustrating for the performers as well, because people, it's like people don't go to things now to experience the things. They go to things to say they've gone to the thing.
Yeah.
You know, I was there. See,
it's like Glastonbury. It's just selfies and selfies and selfies and selfies, isn't it? But
you feel like you've almost like been just by going on Instagram.
I don't need to go. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. But I kind of do want to go to Glastonbury. I hadn't been to a festival until a few years ago, when I got offered free tickets to go to V-Fest.
Yeah.
and Kendall Corlin. I think I went to them both in the same year, and it was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed it because I love camping and I love the festivals and that, and I would go to Glastonbury, but it's always in that week of the year when my hay fever's the worst, and I know if I had to go and spend it in a field, I'd just be miserable. So
it's heavy, isn't it, hay fever?
I feel like Glastonbury discriminates against me.
Do you suffer?
Just move it.
No.
It's horrific, you know.
Not that I know of, no.
It's
I
bad.
don't think so.
It's bad.
Well,
Antihistamines don't even help at this time
they
of year,
don't. They don't touch the sides in this week of the year. But I have just started having this hay fever injection the last 2 years, and it doesn't cure it completely, but it makes it manageable. Like this week, I've just had an antihistamine a day, and I've been able to cope.
Yeah.
But like before that, I'd have been like dead, like in bed, like crying my eyes out.
Is this like a legal thing, or do you have to seek it out on the black market?
No, it's legal. You can't get on an NHS, you've got to go private for it, but there's places like in Liverpool that do it. It's called Kenalog, it's like a steroid.
Right.
Bought it from a lad called Jono who knocks around on South Road.
I wish it might be cheaper. It's like £100 or something, but you know what, it's worth it.
But if it gets you to Glastonbury...
Exactly. So one day I might go to Glastonbury.
I'd like to go.
There,
I've not been either.
Yeah, I've not been. Look,
it is like the king of all
with,
festivals.
Especially with the weather was like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose people who haven't been, you've always got an excuse because it's muddy most years. It's like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
And people might share a picture on social media like of, that same one that's gone round for years where all the tents are floating off.
I'm lucky because the 2 times I've been to V-Fest, the weather's been amazing. But when I did go to Kendall Corlin, it was muddy. And I mean, like, you couldn't, it was so hard to walk in it without falling over. Like, you were like that digging your heels in and everything. So it wasn't it wasn't the best experience, but yeah.
They must suffer though where that festival is.
Yeah.
Because there can't be much nice weather up there.
No.
Festival weather, I mean.
Kendall Corlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kendall, the lake's notoriously wet. But yeah.
Going back to when
we've gone off on way off on a tangent here, guys, but yeah.
Do you know when you said you went from like, obviously you were just giving us a brief sort of summary, but how many followers did you have when you sort of knew this was taking off? Because it was Twitter first, was it? Or
yeah, I started off on Twitter, but I had 10,000 followers in the first week.
Really?
Yeah, I started I think on a Sunday, and by the following Sunday,
posting nudes or something?
What happened?
No, it was right place, right time. There was a niche, and I was in it. It was literally like that. It was an overnight explosion.
Was there like one tweet when you look back that was like, bang, that started it? Or
no, it was like literally like every single tweet I put up would just like, it didn't matter what I put
fire
up.
off your fingers when you were tweeting.
Honestly, and do you know what? It's always, even now to this day, the tweets that you think are the shittest are the ones that do the best.
Yeah.
If you think of a really clever, funny tweet, it bombs. It absolutely bombs. But the ones that are just like a really fucking shit comment, it's like they tend to get the retweets the most. It's the weirdest thing.
I suppose it's the ones that are raw. Maybe you sometimes you can overthink them, can't you?
Yeah.
Being so prominent on the 3 main social media platforms, how do you feel about Twitter at the minute? Do you feel like it's dropped off? Because there's a lot of comments out there that it has.
Yeah, 100%. It dropped off a few years ago, to be honest. Yeah, it was like sort of like Twitter overtook Facebook. Yeah. Then Instagram kind of came along and like overtook Twitter really, and now Facebook's having a bit of a moment again, and Twitter's kind of fell off. But Twitter might have its comeback day soon. I don't know, but yeah, Twitter's definitely not what it used to be, but it's still worth.
But it suited you early doors, didn't it? In terms of
definitely.
Just like
it's good for certain things. Like it's good for like live tweeting. Like for example, Love Island. Like I wouldn't really do that on Facebook or on Instagram because where their algorithms are, it's like your tweets aren't going to show up till a few days later. Whereas on Twitter, it's still live. Yeah. So
follow the hashtag and you're there.
Exactly.
Mm. But was the blog what was it called? Handbag vodka.
Handbag vodka, yeah.
Like literally just because you were a writer, you love writing, and
you take vodka out in your handbag.
I used to take vodka out in my handbag, and things used to get messy. But yeah,
you joined the dots there, well done.
Well in. But yeah, it was just used to be about all like the stupid things me and my mate used to get up to when we were drunk. But obviously, I've grown up a lot since then. I don't really go out anymore. I'm dead boring.
Barely drinks. Refused much rosé, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, I'm driving, so I literally you've talked me into having that one, which is a tiny, tiny glass of wine.
It was contractual.
Sure.
But normally I don't drink when I'm driving at all. Drink driving's not cool, kids. Don't
Definitely
do it.
Not cool, yeah. Especially if you're watching this live, which you can't do, thankfully, yet. So you won't be getting any Her Majesty's Finest waiting outside.
So do you know, we were talking before about how sort of relatable you are in terms of you share everything. Like, is that a deliberate thing? Are you thinking like, I've got here this way?
Yeah.
So do you feel a pressure to share everything? Even obviously you shared a lot with your daughter, you shared a lot about your very recent divorce as well.
I do and I don't, because there are some things that I keep private. Like, obviously I have been quite open about the fact that I've had a divorce, but if people knew the shit that went on behind the scenes, I mean, like, there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on that I haven't shared because I just don't think it's appropriate, and it'll just cause more problems than it would solve. And, you know, it's all, like, obviously, you've heard the Destiny's Child song Survivor, where it's like, oh, I'm not going to dish you on the internet, because, you know, it's not very classy, is it? So there are some things that I won't share. And I found as well, like, when you're in, like, relationships and things, people tend to want to stick their oar in a bit, especially because I think when you have got like a lot of followers and like they follow things, they almost feel like they own you in a certain way. So I've seen, especially recently, a lot of like, you know, people trying to trouble cause, and I mean like really going out the way to lie and things like that, just literally to, I suppose, to make their own entertainment. I don't know what the motivation is behind it, but
people who don't know you.
People who don't know. I mean, and I'm talking like barefaced lies that are provable lies, and they've just gone out the way to do that. And so,
is this like in the comments of posts you put out?
No, I mean, like, I'm talking like, you know, people privately messaging other people to say, "Did you know that this has happened? Did you know that this has happened?"
That's shit, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I think I don't. Even when I was with my husband, I never ever used to put him on stories or on my feed. Like, I don't think you'd ever find a picture of him, or he'd never be on my stories or anything like that. So I think going forward, that's probably a good strategy, as in like certain things just have to be kept private. And obviously I do share things with Cora, but I don't share everything. Like, you know, sometimes she'll be having like a tantrum, or she might have an accident at nursery or whatever. I don't put that on. I'll just put like the funny things that she does or the cute things that she does, because there are some things that, you know, should just be kept private. But I will share my own shortcomings, but there'll usually be a reason to me sharing them, not like in a calculating way, but, you know, I try and turn every negative into a positive. So if I've, you know, fucked up, or there's something bad that's happened to me and I can figure out a way to make that work for me, then I'll share it. If not, then I'll keep it quiet. It's just, you know.
How do you mean to make it work for you?
There's a saying that I use, and it's like, use the bricks that people throw at you to build your empire. So there was a time not long ago when someone had taken something I'd said like the wrong way, or they, like, I mean, when I say the wrong way, I mean, like, I don't know how they got there. I don't know how they joined those dots in their head and that. And they started inciting people to rip up the Scousebird diary and things like that. Really weird. I mean, really weird.
Right.
Like people had gone out and bought, you know, the diary and that, and they were inciting them to rip them up. So I might have kept that quiet, but I just thought, well, no, this isn't
Got you.
right. So
you just retweet the mad stuff and just be like...
I did a video about it, or I did like a caption about it saying, you know, this is what's happened. This person's telling you to do this. Don't do it. You know, you've spent your money on this. I've got your money. You're not hurting me, you're hurting yourself, type of thing. And for anybody else who wants a diary, here's a discount code. And so I sold a lot more diaries off the back of it. So it's just one of those things.
Very
it's
smart.
like they were trying to damage me business. So I just used it to get more sales. It's just one of those things. Clever marketing.
Do you reckon Gary Vee would be proud?
Yeah,
Your man?
Be. Yeah, he would be.
You on to Gary Vee?
No, who's that?
Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a guy, when I've got my own healthcare business, and when I started that a couple of years ago, I basically, it's one of the reasons we started this, to be honest with you. I consumed everything that was out there, you know, audiobooks, podcasts, YouTube, physical books as well. And one of the real figures that I followed was a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, who was brilliant. He's got his own YouTube channel, he's got podcasts, he's got books out, but he's not what you stereotypically find out there. Yeah. He talks a lot about the journey. I think too many people, when they start writing books about business successes they've had, they've already got there and they're writing it from the yacht in Marbella or somewhere. Yeah. So do you really remember what it was like?
Yeah.
years ago when you were starting out, when you had no money, really.
Yeah.
Whereas Gary Vee's documented things throughout, and he constantly refers back to it. And he seems like a down to earth guy. So yeah, he was really good.
You went to his seminar, didn't you?
Yeah, he was spot on. I'd recommend it. And you talked recently about, which I thought was really interesting and really brave. You talked about possibly because some of the personal issues you've had, the things hadn't gone according to plan with
the salon.
Was it your salon?
Yeah, exactly. Again, that was another sort of thing. As in, I knew I'd messed up really, and like I'd had some like tenants in the salon who'd left and things like that. So I knew things had to be fixed, but I didn't really have the time to fix them before they'd left, and I didn't have the mental capacity because I was just dealing with so much shit basically in my personal life. I was really in quite a bad way that I just needed to take a step back and just let it fail almost. Not like let it fail, because it hasn't failed, it's still going and that, but let it fail to a degree, because I needed to concentrate on me, because I knew I couldn't give my all to it if I wasn't feeling great. So I had to take that step back, sort myself out, and then it was either a case of, okay, do I shut it down, kill it, and then it's one less worry, or do I just say, no, we've got this, and we go again? And so that's what I did, and I was honest about it and just said, because I could have bullshitted and gone, oh, we've been so amazing, we've had people leave and blah blah, so we've got spaces to fill, type of thing. But I think A, people would have seen through that, and B, it could have been a case of the people who'd left had gone, well, no, it wasn't like that actually. She's lying.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have, that wouldn't have saved anyone really. So I was just honest and go, yeah, hold my hands up, I messed up, but I know now how to make it better. So the salon's all been like redecorated. All the problems that we had in there have been fixed. We've got some great staff who are starting very, very soon. I'm dead excited to work with. We've got better, like amazing staff coming, and like new opportunities have come. And like there's a hair extension company who wants to like sponsor a chair and like work really closely with us and that. And if that hadn't happened, and maybe if I hadn't have done the video, then those opportunities, no one would have known to come to me with those opportunities, and they would have found these new staff. So it is sometimes about holding your hands up and saying, yeah, all right, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to try my best. And that's where we go, because what I have got there in Crosby is a really good base and like great people and a great vibe, and it's just about doing the best.
It's that authenticity, isn't it? Like, I know it sounds a bit wanky, but it's almost anti-traditional marketing. It's saying like, yeah, I've made I've made mistakes. It wasn't perfect, but being completely honest, and you said relatable before, especially in Liverpool, and obviously the Scouse whole brand is based on people who talk, don't they?
Yeah,
especially on social media. That honesty is rare, and that has to be a huge appeal to a lot of your followers.
It is rare, but it's prized, isn't it? That's the thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Have you always been comfortable sharing a certain amount? Is that what you've been like with your mates growing up? And
yeah, I'd like overshare probably too much. No, I don't know. I do and I don't. Like sometimes, like I'll bottle up my feelings and I won't talk to anyone. But then sometimes, you know what? It's weird. Sometimes I feel more comfortable talking to Instagram than I do talking to some of like my closest like friends and family. It's
like
really weird. Yeah. It's like it's a bit like a therapy session, because I feel like when I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking to myself, because I'm just looking at myself. And all right, I know like thousands of people are like watching and whatever. But I don't know, it's a bit like when you're talking to your friends, you've got to sort of be vulnerable in there in the moment. But when you're talking to yourself, you're only looking at yourself. Do you get me? Like I've been in like relationships and I've avoided having like difficult conversations because I know I'll just break down and cry, because that is my go-to thing. Like even if I'm not upset, if I've got to talk about something real, I'll get upset. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I'm looking at myself, then I can talk to myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that do actually.
And you get that same feeling as, say, if something's been on your mind.
Yeah.
Something's really weighing you down. You've had a shitty day at work. You've fallen out with your partner. Do you get? And sometimes you speak to a person. You might be your mum, might be a really close friend or something, and you feel like that weight's being lifted off your shoulders. Do you get that same feeling when you're chatting to social media?
Yeah. Like for example, that video about the salon, I was dreading doing that. I put that off for weeks. I knew what I had to do. I knew that was the best way to play it. But honest to God, I put that off for so long. And then on one day I just went, right, I've done everything on my to-do list. I really can't put this off any longer. And I just went, opened up the salon, closed it again. So I was locked in there on my own because I knew if there was anyone round, I wouldn't be able to actually do it, and just went for it, went live.
Did you one take? Oh, you went live?
I went live, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I always, whenever I've got a longer video to do, I'll always go live because then, there's no going back.
Yeah, see again.
Once it's out there, it's out there.
You can't edit it once.
Again, authentic. And, we live in a world where things are manufactured,
Yeah.
Everyone's walking around with fake lips, tits and teeth.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing. That's just you, Greg. Just that gym. But it's refreshing to see someone so honest. But also, you're a really inspirational local female who's made, as I say, several legitimate businesses outside of social media. Have you ever felt like you might sort of succumb to the pressure and start putting pictures of your arse on there, or anything like that?
Absolutely
Are you like
not.
No?
That's I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like, it's like the whole selfie thing. I'm not having a go at anyone who does that. Like, if I don't know, maybe if I had like the perfect body or something like that, then maybe I'd do that. But I doubt it. That's just not me. It's sort of I don't know why people do it. Like, I don't know what the motivation is behind it. Like, some people will do it because it's part of their business and it's great for them to make money, and I can understand that. But people who just do it maybe for like the likes, it's almost a bit like, are you doing it for sort of like validation or what? I don't understand it, because I'm not asked how many likes a selfie gets. I really don't care. But I will keep an eye on how many likes my posts in general are getting. And, because that is to do with my business. So I have to like monitor that. That's how I monitor my success. But it's not about me and how I feel like I'll get me validation in other ways. And I like it when people like content that I'm putting out. Like if I've made a great podcast, I'll be there looking for like the great comments and things, or like comments on blogs or on posts and things. But it's not, for me, it's not about like the physical or anything like that. That's sort of, I don't know. No, not for me, that.
You said how nerve-wracking it was when you first kind of came out as you. Was that because in the back of your mind you're thinking, what if I get loads of weird trolls just giving me just random shit?
Yeah, defo.
That's what I'd be thinking. Like, you start picking on whatever, people that know you. And
because people will have had an image in their head of what Scousebird looks like, and if I didn't match up to that image, people might have been fuming. And I mean, and I suppose in a way I didn't match up to that image, because a lot of people, I know before I came out, a lot of people thought like I was like a small, mouthy blonde, and I'm a tall brunette kind of.
I assume blonde.
I'm not very mouthy.
I assume blonde, I reckon. Yeah, thinking back. Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm not very mouthy. I don't do me tan a lot. I haven't got, I don't wear lashes all the time. Like, I'm actually quite natural with like my makeup and stuff. Like, I will doll up every now and again, but that's not how I sort of like live my life. So I'm probably the opposite of what people expected in some ways. But I hope like a lot of people were maybe relieved by that almost, because if they have got this image in their head of like this perfect, typical like thing of what a Scousebird should be, and actually I'm just like anyone that they might pass on the street, and maybe they were happy about that. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't them, so I don't know.
The original pic of your thing was Colleen Rooney, wasn't it? What happened there?
Did Andy Warhol print of
the very first one that I had was actually Abby Clancy in rollers. However, she was in talks with The Sun to do a beauty column. She came out and did a beauty column with The Sun, and then very swiftly pulled out of that. But kind of the damage was already done. So I'm very conscious about not being associated with that, because if the icon I'm using is associated with something bad for the city, then that looks bad on me, if you know what I mean. So that's when I switched to Colleen, and I thought Colleen would never play me like that. She'd never do anything like that. So it was Colleen ever since. And then obviously when I then came out, I thought, well, I tell you what, I'll recreate the Colleen image, but in my image. So I sat down and I got my rollers in and I tried to recreate it as best I could, and then I got somebody to make it into a pop art thing so that people would see that the image had changed, but it wouldn't be too much of a change. It would still be quite a smooth transition, because again, it's all about branding, guys.
Brand consistency all the way.
Not throwing people off. So a lot of people didn't even notice at first. So, yeah.
I assumed maybe you got a cease and desist letter or something like that off Colleen at first.
No. Well, funnily enough, in America, she would have had rights over her image. In the UK, it's whoever's taken the photo. It's whoever the photo belongs to. And there was a magazine called Open who had made that image for me, and then they sold it to me. So I did have the image rights to it. But Colleen's always sound like she follows me and everything like that, and I'd sent her the diary and stuff. Yeah, she'd retweeted things, and so I assume she was always fine, because I was never doing anything that was, again, I was conscious of not bringing her name into disrepute as well. Like, I have a policy, I'll never tweet anything like, homophobic, racist, drugs, anything like that. I've got to stay away from all that. Yeah. Because
bogeys are okay though.
Well, bogeys are fine, yeah. Bogeys and vodka and prosecco and gin and all like that, that's fine. But when you come to like the really sort of like difficult, like the political things, I've tried to sort of stay away from.
You've got to stay away from that, especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, that's one of the reasons I quit Twitter like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I'm an Everton fan for starters, and it was in Roberto Martinez's second season. And any blew it. Do you follow football?
I mean, I know who Klopp is.
Okay.
With his cheeky little face.
Okay.
That we'd all like to sit on, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Greg would like to sit on it.
Not so much.
I mean,
not so much.
No, he's only got eyes for Slutty Susie, Greg.
Give it a push, but
yeah, but it was Martinez's second season. Do you remember that?
Sorry, bad times.
And as if watching the game wasn't bad enough, you'd log on to Twitter. Jesus Christ.
A lot of negativity, wasn't
Oh my, you've never seen anything like it. Yeah. And that's the thing with Twitter, I think. It's so, not only is it so noisy, every bit of social media is, but there's so much negative noise and people hopping on bandwagons and stuff like that. I think when I decided to come off it, I thought like, it just reminded me of a chat room, because it's like, Big Tool 16 or something like that, rather than like people's real names. Do you know what I mean? And as long as it's got that anonymity, I think you're always going to get the
I
think
in the beginning I got a lot more trolls when I was anonymous. Like, I used to get trolled all the time, and I was just like, you don't know me. You don't know who I am. So it was fine. I had to stay away from it.
Did you respond? Sorry, did you respond to them or?
No, very rarely. If I did ever respond to someone, it's because I knew I had taken them down with one tweet. Do you know what I mean? I had just end them in one go, and I did that quite a few times. But if it meant getting into like a war with someone, I'd just stay away from that. And like, quite often people would try and get me involved with like Hillsborough trolls, like, because you'd get people from Wolverhampton or York or whatever saying shit about Hillsborough, and then you'd always get people going, come on, tell these that they can't do it, and I'm going, that's what they want, don't you? So by giving them that attention, it makes it worse. They'll do it more, not less. So you need to like, just literally ignore them. It's like, have you ever heard of something called the Streisand effect?
What?
The Streisand effect.
What's that?
As in Barbara Streisand?
As in Barbara Streisand, yeah. There was a picture, some like obscure magazine printed a picture of her beach house.
Yeah.
And she tried to get it taken down. And the more she tried to get it taken down, the more publications were jumping onto it and publishing her thing. So by trying to get rid of it, she made it into this massive thing. So sometimes it's just best ignoring things, because they'll just go away on their own.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Streisand effect. I read about that once and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, exactly.
And are you a person who, you've become legitimately successful, do you still read the comments? Or do you stay away from that shit now? Because there's always going to be a couple of people trying to shoot you down.
I don't know. I don't get that, to be honest. I very, very rarely get that. Get comments anymore, and not on my social media or anything like that. I never do. I just block them, because I'm just like, I don't care. There is like, funnily enough, right, there's a forum at the moment, I can't remember what it's called, like Tattle or something like that, right? And it literally is somewhere where people go and bitch about online influencers. And I'm not talking about just me. I mean, like, literally anybody who's got like any sort of social media presence, like all like your Slimming World bloggers, that Mrs. Hinch who does all the cleaning, all about there's one about me, there's literally anyone who's got a social media presence, there'll be a thread about them, and it's literally people just saying the nastiest most horrible shit you've ever come across. It's really bad. Like, it's so bad. Like, even I had a wobble over it, and I don't like let things get to me, and like there was lies on there, and there was speculations about my daughter, about, you know, my ex-partner. You know, it was horrible. It was really bad, and I struggled with that for a few days, and then I just went, you know what, I'm not even going to look at it anymore. If that is how they get their entertainment, then I feel sorry for them. I really do. But saying that, though, you know, there's a lot of other people who've been talked about on that maybe aren't as strong as me, and who have handled it worse, and, you know, they've come off social media, they've deleted their accounts, or they've had to make new accounts or whatever, and I just think it's really bad. And the moderators, if you go on there and try and like respond to a comment or...
Oh, so there are moderators, but this shit still goes on? But
they're in it. The moderators are part of it.
Genuine moderators then,
no, so if you go, as soon as you go on and try and sort of like defend yourself, or if anyone tries to defend anyone, the comment just gets deleted and you get blocked off there. It's so bad. And I honestly think that somebody is going to commit suicide, and it'll take that for it to be taken down. It's that bad. It's really nasty stuff.
Has to be. I mean, if they're doing it after Love Island, I mean...
I know, yeah. I mean, I'm sure, like, in real life, these will be the same people who are going, oh, you can't say that about, you know, look what happened with Love Island. And then by the same token, they're like, they just, it's like what I said before. It's like people, if you're online, people almost think they've got a right to your life. So, you know, it's fine. Crack on, let them talk about it all they want, but I don't bother.
So strange. They just almost don't see that the comment they're making is aimed at a real person, even though... It's meta, because even though they actually know now that you are a very real person, and you do your videos, and you couldn't be more real in that respect.
If they did it like on social media, they'd know, like, it would be more like you could block them, or it'd be
more accountable, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. They'd be more accountable because they're in like a safe space where they're all at it. Yeah, and they all just want to basically go on and have a bitch. Then that's it. But I honestly do think it'll go on, but someone will commit suicide, and then it'll be taken down then. But I think it'll have to get that bad before, you know, the police get involved or whatever, because it's not good. Like, there's people on there who've been doxxed, you know, like had like the address and the personal details shared on there. It's really bad. But
does it have advertising and stuff like that? Does it actually attract?
No, I don't think so. No, it's literally
dark web.
It's a bit like an old chat room. It's a forum. It's like it's just a shitty website, and it's literally just for people to bitch about on, and it's pathetic. But
it's the worst of people, isn't it? It's just the shittiest worst.
This is the thing. Like, the internet, the negative of it does give people a voice, and that's not necessarily always a good thing if people aren't qualified.
And I'm sure once I promote this podcast, someone from the forum will have listened to it, because like they watch everything like that you do intensely. It's very weird. Like, they hate you, but they'll watch everything that you do, and I'm sure they'll listen to this and then they'll go and have a little bitch about it. But, you know, crack on, guys.
Probably be
guys living for you, isn't it?
The shout out. I think I read somewhere recently that I think it was just Instagram at the moment, but they've toyed with the idea of not doing away with likes, but hiding them somewhere, you know, where like you might have to, you wouldn't necessarily see it when you're scrolling through your feed. Yeah. You might have to click on the pic to see it. And I think I think that could be a big change that is well overdue, because anywhere where you have, you know, let's face it, a lot of social media, it's a popularity it's not social. It's a popularity contest, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the problem is when you've got that negativity, people will get on that as well for popularity. People will jump on the bandwagon, as I was saying before about Twitter. So that could be a really interesting change. It'd be interesting to see how that goes.
I think Instagram's a bit more nuanced. Like, I don't think it's as much of a herd mentality as Twitter was.
No.
I think, hopefully it's just an echo chamber of me not following as many cranks, but if there's one bad shout, more people shout them down, I think, to an extent. But then the flip side of Instagram it is so like based on aesthetic that it obviously leaves a lot of people with massive kind of issues, especially younger people with big issues.
I can understand that. I mean, like, it's not something that I've ever suffered with. Like, I know, like, growing up and looking at, like, there's a lot of things about women's magazine making women feel bad. And I don't think I've ever compared myself to someone in a magazine or anything like that, but I have felt bad about my body, but that's more like compared to people I know than people in a magazine. So I don't know.
Earlier when you were saying you haven't done, you try and not be too political, I sort of think there's one thing being political and then just saying things that are relevant even in a political sphere. And that post you did yesterday, or was it today, about like sexual assault, basically?
Yeah, rape and that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that got a lot.
get political. Yeah. I mean, I am fully Team Corbyn, and he's absolute bae. But yeah, the whole I saw that tweet on Twitter about it, and it's something. It said, I literally don't think there's a woman out there who hasn't been raped, nearly raped, or sexually assaulted. It's that bad. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, don't be soft. And then I thought, no, hang on. I mean, that is probably true, actually, because I mean, I know it's happened to me. And at the time, I didn't even realise how bad it was, because I was 18 and I'd been on a date with this guy, and we went out to watch a match or something like that, and he walked me home, and I was living in town at the time. It was like, you know, blocks of flats, and they have like little bin cupboards, don't they?
Yeah.
And he literally sort of pulled me behind the bins and tried to have sex with me, and I was like, no, I don't want to. And when I say nearly raped, I mean his dick was out type of thing, and whatever, there was contact made, and I said no, I really don't, and I managed to push him off and go away. And at the time I was just thinking, oh well, you know, that's just what boys like, isn't it? Boys like that, they'll always try it on. And I didn't really realise how bad it was until like years later. And I don't think I've ever even told anyone it, because at the time it was like just a bit like oh well, that's just what happens, isn't it? And I wouldn't even be able to remember his name or what he looked like, but I know it happened, and I remember that very clearly. And I do think that, you know, having spoke to a couple of my friends about it, they're like, yeah, that happens and worse. So I really don't think that there is that many girls out there who haven't had an experience like that, and it's dead sad.
It is. I think, unfortunately, it wasn't necessarily the world we live in, but it was very prominent a few years ago. Just I've worked a lot in town, DJing, and worked on the door before that, and I've seen so much predatory behaviour by men, and I mean like predators won't take no for an answer. Yeah. You know, and it must have been scary back in the day to be female and be young and be out on your own with someone you might not necessarily have known. And
yeah, I mean, I've explained to somebody about not long ago about going on a date that I didn't really want to be on, and they were like, well, why didn't you just say no? And I was going, because like, I don't know how he would have reacted to that. Like, I really don't know. Like, as I was just trying to explain to one of like my male friends, and he was like, well, why didn't you just say, nah, I'm all right? And I said, listen, until you've had to walk through a car park at night with your keys in your hands, you'll never know, and you'll never know that as a woman. And because, you know, things might not happen, but you can't take that chance as a woman, and it's horrible, like, but a lot of men will never be in that position.
They won't, because let's face it, physically, you know, a man could fight off a woman, and a lot of other men as well, and that's something that women don't really have.
I know, I mean,
9 times out of 10.
We're not saying like a woman can't be stronger than a man, but like generally as a rule, women are weaker.
Exactly, physically. It's a physical thing. So what I'm saying is, there will have been occasions where you won't necessarily have had a choice, and no might not have been enough, but you might not have been strong enough to get the guy away. And you know, it's incredible. It's not that long ago as well.
I know, like in the past, I've I know this sounds like really bad and that, but like it sounds really trivial, but I really hate being tickled. And I've been in a relationship where the fella's tickled me and they've been on top of me, and I literally can't fight him off. And I get really like angry and aggressive and start lashing out because I physically can't fight him off. And it's really like, it's like being tickled for me does not feel nice, do you know what I mean? And it's that power thing. It's like, I'm telling you now, I don't like that because I can't fight it off. Yeah. Even though it's like tickling. But it's one of those
still
things.
A physical act though, isn't it?
Exactly.
If you're saying stop, it sounds daft, but if you're saying stop it, and it's really unpleasant to you, and you can't physically make them stop it.
It's horrible. It's
and
so bad.
There's probably never any malice behind it in most circumstances from like whoever's tickling the person. But I see the point. But it's weird how, like, I think what you were saying. I
think you guys thought you were having a chat about Twitter here, and we've gone real deep. We've gone into like abuse and everything.
It's funny because what you were saying then about where you went, that you said to your mate, and then she said, "Yeah, that's." It was kind of like probably just that's almost what you assumed was like normal. So at least we're moving into time where there's realisation that that's just not normal.
Yeah, all the Me Too and all that. But by the same token, you know, there are some women out there who will falsely accuse men, and that's really damaging as well. It's more damaging in a way, because it's like, well, you know, if you prove to be not telling the truth and it's easily proved, whatever, or even if it's not easily proved, it's like, how much does that damage the people who don't get believed when it is genuine?
False accusation. I was listening to a thing before on the way back from work where it was like Cliff Richard and Paul Gambaccini and a few other people just met, both men who were accused, I think, of assaulting younger men or younger males. But either way, it was like they've gone to Parliament to get a petition about an anonymity for people accused of a sexual offence until they're charged.
Yeah.
Because in both their cases, it seems if they've been accused, it's been publicised, you know.
Mud sticks.
Exactly. And then of course there's the separate thing that you've just identified is that like it undermines credible.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. It really.
And I think probably
because you can get people who have maybe like broken up or been broken up with and they don't want to be and they're spiteful and so they'll go for those accusations, or in custody battles over children they'll start like accusing the partners of domestic abuse. And you know, you want to believe the genuine ones, but you've also got to acknowledge that there's not genuine ones out there. So it's
again, though,
hard.
I think that side is improving as well. I don't think it's as easy. There was a period where mud would stick, whereas I think now, possibly because of the access that the law can get to your devices and stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
There's usually some sort of way where we can look, well, actually, where was the momentum here, you know? There's been a couple of cases where they've been successfully overturned, hasn't there, where they were proven false. So thankfully, you know, we're getting more of the truth out there.
It's on a much less profound and interesting level, but it's one that fascinates me, right? Who's Scouse Ma? And do you know it? Not who's her, don't out her, but have you got like a rivalry, or you just know who she is? Or
no, do you know what it is, right? We had I used to be really, really good friends with her, and I do know her. And then we had fallen out a few years ago over, again, it was over the son, funnily enough, because I was working with some guy from Manchester who was like on like a fashion, he owned like a fashion thing or whatever, and then he'd posted something on his personal page about the son. And then I was away in Wales at the time, like with no signal or anything like that. And then it all started kicking off. Like they were going, you know, how dare you read the Sun or whatever. And I was like, well, he's from Manchester. He might not know what's going on type of thing, but I'll sort it out when I'm back. Yeah. And then my ex-husband at the time jumped in and started causing like this big, massive thing. And I was like, will you just leave it? And anyway, it ended up spiraling into this big, massive argument that it didn't really need to be. But you know, I've got nothing against her. I think she's done really well and she's amazing. She's a really funny woman and I admire her. And I think we're on better terms now. But yeah, there was a falling out. But again, it was to do with the son and, you know, it was all a man's fault as usual. So, you know, but that's over now. Done. Water under the bridge.
Who was first, you or her?
Me. Yeah. Obviously. So she... Again, like I say, we were friends at the time at the beginning, and she said, you know, I liked your account and I liked what you're doing, which is why I set that up. And I think if I remember correctly, I remember going on a night out with her once, and she said she set it up with some male friends. There was more than one of them on the account, and they started tweeting shit, and she was just like, "Fuck off, I'm doing it myself," type of thing. But yeah, she's a very funny woman.
So not counting her, because obviously she's like been going for a while and funny and loads of engagement. Have there been other like attempted imitators who've gone like, I can do that, I'm funny, and have tried to copy it or even just copied the names? Yeah,
I mean more in the beginning, but I got Scousebird trademarked quite early on. So when people have tried to set up things up, I just send off a trademark report to Twitter and they just take it down or whatever. Okay. So that was that. If you're starting a business and you think it's going to take off, that would be a really sage bit of advice I'd give you, is get it trademarked, because then you can take down all your competitors. Brilliant. Or competitors anyway. But in the beginning more, because I think people just think of it as I can send a couple of tweets. Yeah, I can do that, no problem. I hope that's not my car alarm.
Stop now.
And but they can't, because otherwise they'd be doing it. You know what I mean? It's a case of...
Is that easy?
Yeah. It's not just about sending a couple of tweets. It's about being consistent. It's about being persistent with it. It's about then having the business acumen to be able to turn that around. It's about having the knowledge of branding. It's about knowing what's right for you and what's wrong for you and being able to distinguish that. And it's about not letting it go to your head and getting full of yourself. Yeah. And then obviously when that maybe things fall apart or whatever, it's about being able to pivot and turn that into something else, and that's how you're persistent and you keep going with it, and about keeping it fresh and changing and all that. Because like I said, what I do now is completely different to what I did in the beginning, and that's how I'm still going.
What was your first kind of venture aside from your first business away from the social side? Was it the salon, the shop, or?
The shop. It was the diary. The first thing I ever did was the Scousebird diary. That was my first bit of merchandise, and I did that I think about a year and a half maybe after I started the account. Then the following year it was like notebooks and mugs and that, and then the following year after that was when I lost Instagram, so I really ploughed it into building up the shop and things. And then when I came out and sort of identified myself, that's when a couple of months later I started a physical shop. Then we moved to a bigger unit and I started the salon. I thought that would be a nice little add-on. Then we moved to Crosby, and then since we moved to Crosby I started the podcast. So it's just all been like, none of it's ever been like calculating, like, oh, I'm going to do this next, I'm going to do this next. It's all just flowed naturally. So,
best way.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you know back in the day when you were doing your mean banter stuff on its own, you still had a job, and you were offered to get paid for tweets and stuff, how much are we talking? How much do you get paid for a tweet?
God, at the time when I first started, it was like 20 quid.
Was it?
it was like nothing. And
or
then,
like a free onion bhaji at the end.
Was it other small, like say, there was smaller businesses just who were a bit savvy socially and went, we'll pay you 50 quid to tweet.
Yeah, and
bars and stuff.
I think the most I've been paid for tweets is about I think is over 1,000. I think is the most I've been paid for jobs, but I don't charge that much anymore. So that's not the biggest side of my business. I'm more concentrating on like the shop and the salon and things. But shit. I do still charge for like the blog and stuff, but it's just a little sideline thing. That's just one of me revenue streams. So
you do sponsored Insta posts?
Yeah.
And you've got to be quite clear about that now, haven't you? Because it was, remember that came up.
You've got to disclose it and do ads and stuff like that. Like, for example, I did the Merseyrail one the other day. So me and Cora took the train to Southport. So
was that a sponsored post?
Yeah.
Shows you how unsavvy. I thought that was a genuine.
I mean, it was genuine, but it was also a sponsored post, you know what I mean? Because we do go over a level crossing every morning, and we do look out for the train. And she was dead excited to go on the train, and I did want to take her on the train. It just so happened that Merseyrail wanted to sort of work with me, and that gave me the push to go and do it. But whatever I said on it was genuine. Like, even when I do a sponsor post, I don't do ones that I don't believe in. Do you know what I mean? Because I like to have integrity with things, so I'll always try something out. Or if I'm telling like a little bit of a story with it, I'll always make sure the story is genuine. I'm not going to just make shit up just because I've been paid for it. I'll always try and relate it back to me.
Yeah, again, it's
back
to authenticity. So You're not going to be advertising teeth whitening products or detox tea anytime soon?
Nah, I mean, I've done teeth whitening. I mean, I have done teeth whitening stuff in the past, but it's just been where I've gone to get my teeth whitened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or,
you'd use it so any.
Yeah. Or I've tried a weight loss product and I've gone, this is what I thought of the weight loss product, but it's not like, try booty. I lost, 12 pounds in a week or whatever by shitting myself. It's not that kind of thing. I'll always sort of try it myself and try and give like a bit of a balanced view of things, because you've got to keep it real, otherwise you'll just lose people's interest.
I think it's mad how the things like teeth whitening and bars, restaurants, you would imagine they'd try and pay a social influencer, but Merseyrail, that's really interesting. That like a transport network have gone, someone who works in their social teams have been savvy enough to go, let's try this. Did they come to you?
Yeah, we've been trying to organise it for a while.
Well, you'll have the social media team will be young and savvy.
Yeah, but imagine that conversation with the higher ups.
Some our fella who works in there.
I've worked with River Islands. I've worked with Phillips Hue. Like I say, Merseyrail. I've worked with the Clothes Show when they came to Liverpool. I worked with them a couple of times. So I have worked with like some really big names, to be honest, and I'm dead proud of that.
Yeah,
so
you should be.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of local people, but also a lot of like mainstream people as well.
You've done it without compromising your integrity, without posting pictures of your ass.
Exactly.
You've done it just through being you.
No one wants to see my ass, honestly.
I think he does. He's mentioned it about 6 times.
I do, yeah.
What have you got, like a strategic, I suspect you've answered this by saying I just don't plan it in terms of your business diversifying, but is there like an end game where you're going to do this next and not do the social stuff, or?
Don't know.
As long as it keeps going.
As long as it keeps going, I'm here. Like there's like people have been telling me for years that Scousebird's over, it's going to finish and all like that. And I'm like, listen, it'll end when I say it ends. Do you know what I mean? Like I had back in about, I think when I've been doing it for about 2 years, people said to me, oh, you do know it's only got about 6 months left or whatever. And I shit myself a little bit. I was like, really? Oh my God, is that what people are thinking? And then I was like, nah, bitch, I'm telling you, this is what's happening. So it'll keep going for as long as I want it to keep going, because I'll always change it.
Imagine saying that to you. Imagine going, that thing that you're smashing, it's gone. Finished.
Yeah, no, people have been saying, people have literally been saying to me since the start of the account.
Well, how do they know?
7 years.
Because there's not really a precedent. So are they just being like negatives and?
They're just trying to shoot somebody down who's been like, successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they say, oh, Twitter will be over and then you'll have nothing and this, that, and the other.
Well, that's where you differ, though, isn't it? Because you have physical.
I know. I mean, I've bought my house, I've bought my car, I've been on holiday, I've done everything that I need to do. I'm not stupid with my money. Like there's been a few extravagant purchases that I've made with designer bags and that, but generally I've been on the bones of my arse before, so I'm not stupid with my money. I'm more relaxed with it, and I'm lucky that I don't have to worry about money, but I'm not stupid with it. Like I say, it's all about my house and my car and things like that. Like I've managed to buy my dream car, I've managed to buy my dream house in my dream area. I mean, I can't get any better than that, really.
And how do you feel about you involved? You mentioned your little daughter before, who's really cute, by the way, Cora, and she features a lot in your posts. And what happens when she's sort of mid-teen, she's wanting to get Instagram and stuff like that? Will you be carefully managing that process?
It's going to be up to her, really, because again, as someone has criticised the fact that I've got her own social media account, but it's not so much that I've got her own social media account. I had a personal account that I would share the odd thing on.
Yeah.
But then I realised I was literally just posting photos of her. That's all it became. So it just kind of turned into her account just so that she had a name and stuff. Because the way I see it is that when she grows up, she might not want to go on social media and want a career on social media. But the way I see it is everyone's on social media. Who isn't on social media? And imagine if I could have been getting her followers for all those years and she was like, Mum, why didn't you do that? So I had a starting platform. So I see it as almost like a savings account for her of followers, so that she can then do what she wants with them, whether it be following my footsteps and take over my business, or whether she wants to start up her own other business. She's got that platform then.
Almost,
She's got that social. I mean, Instagram might not even be around then. I don't know. I really don't know. But all I'm doing is sort of hedging my bets for her, so that she's got the best start in life. So I've got a savings account, so when she grows up and she wants to buy a house and a car and that, she's got that there for her. But I'm also trying to start a little savings account for her of some sort of social media platform. And if she doesn't want it and she doesn't want to use it, then that's fine. She doesn't have to, but it's there for her if she wants it, because I never sort of forgive myself if I had that opportunity for her and I never took it. Do you know what I mean?
At least you had the self-awareness to be like, actually, I'm just being one of those parents who just post pictures of my kids, so I may as well do it.
May as well just do it. Because again, when I sort of revealed myself, I could put more personal stuff then on the Scousebird page, so I didn't need a personal account really, so I stopped using it as a personal account. I just post pictures of Cora, so it just turned into Cora's account.
Is that sometimes a bit annoying though? Do you kind of miss just having an actual personal account where you can just put, not mundane, because you wouldn't really share mundane stuff, I would imagine, but you want to put something and you think, oh, is that good enough to be under the brand?
Nah, because I'll just put stuff like that on my story, because then it goes after 24 hours, doesn't it?
And how much of thought you put into it? So you've got the 3 social media accounts, just the 3, isn't it? You're not on these other ones?
I've got Snapchat and YouTube, but I don't really use them. Snapchat I only really use for personal stuff. I just use it for talking to my mates. YouTube I had, but I just found it really time consuming, filming something and having to sort out the fucking lighting and the sound quality and then editing it, and it'd take all day to do a video. So I go on Instagram now, IGTV. I'll go on, I'll do a live, I'll save it, I'll put it on my IGTV. Done. Like, it's not editors, it's fine. Like, it's bad enough trying to edit like a podcast, but. So I don't really like YouTube. YouTube was never for me, but I gave it a go and I have got that as a platform there. But yeah, my main three is Twitter, Instagram.
Does IGTV work like YouTube in the sense that after a certain amount of subscribers or what views you can monetize it?
Don't know, because I don't know, it's part of Instagram and you can monetize Instagram anyway, so I don't know.
So it's like, is it like with YouTube that once you get a certain amount of followers, they give you the option to...
Yeah, I think so. I think with IGTV you can upload a video up to 10 minutes, but I think once you like verified, you get like blue tick, you can do anything up to 60 minutes.
Right, okay.
I think that's the reward you get once you get to a certain level. So no, I tried to upload a video the other day, it was 13 minutes and they were having none of it, so.
That's them trying to go against YouTube, but they're not going to win against YouTube. Because no one watches IGTV on their TV.
Yeah.
Well, not yet, but would they try and... Because Facebook hang on a second, on YouTube.
YouTube's horizontal, isn't
Google
it, though?
YouTube.
And IGTV is
There's the
vertical.
rub.
Yeah. It's made for looking,
That's
doing it on your phone.
So it's not going to be on telly.
Niche.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is long form. I don't think long form video is ever really going to be that big on your phone. Video. Because unless you're like on a plane or a train. The long form stuff, you tend to watch it either on your TV or a bigger device like an iPad or something like that.
Tablet or something,
So I don't think having a 60-minute IGTV
I've got
video...
like a really short attention span when it comes to videos. If someone tries to show me a video, if it's anything longer than 30 seconds, I literally go, nah, no.
If it's a funny one, you've got to pull that awkward face where they're watching you to see your reaction as well.
Or if it's 2 minutes and just like, oh, come on, yeah, just get to the point. Like I've got like low patience with it and I don't understand people who can sit and watch YouTube videos for like hours. So maybe that's another reason why I didn't really get into YouTube, because I don't understand sitting there and watching a stranger for like half an hour talking about what they got sent in the post off a beauty channel. I don't get it. I've tried to do it myself and I'm just like, even I wouldn't watch this shit. So
yeah, I mean, YouTube isn't just about YouTubers though. There's a lot of really good shit out there, and it's become like another like TV now.
Yeah,
you watch it predominantly, don't you?
Yeah, well, like a game changer for me. One of the reasons why we decided to film this was because I got a new TV a couple of years ago, and it had a YouTube button on it. All the normal buttons. It had Netflix and it had a YouTube button. I thought, wow, this is.
I think I've got a TV.
And then I started going to friends' houses, and they were watching YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of good stuff out there, and even the traditional TV producers like your Sky Sports, BBC, they're putting a lot of stuff on YouTube now.
Yeah.
So it just shows it's come full circle. You know? So I was going to say before.
Yeah.
So you're running all those social media channels.
Yes.
You're also running 3 businesses, is it?
Yes. 4 if you count the podcast. Although we haven't monetized that yet.
Okay, yet. Yeah. So is there a Scousebird team now, or is this just you doing all of this?
No, I do have staff, but it's very, very difficult to find the right staff, and that is the main problem. That's the main headache I've come across in business, is like your staff can be your greatest asset or your biggest headache. And I would always say to people, just try and put off staff for as long as possible, because that's when you're going to get your headaches and that. But I'm lucky in the fact that I've got like a couple of really great people, but I've had a lot of like turnover as well, because people will come into Scousebird and think it's just going to be a sit-off, and they're just going to sit there talking about memes all day and things like that, and they get a bit of a shock when they realise they've got to actually put some work into it. So I've had people come and leave because it hasn't been what they've expected, or they've had to leave because the work isn't good enough. So it's finding the right staff is very, very difficult, but I have got like 1 or 2 really good members of staff, but I'm still struggling with finding the right people to sort of fit into the business. And
are they specific to the problems that you've had with turnover? Is that specific to one area of the business, or like are you letting anyone loose on your social media at the moment, or you sound like a bit of a perfectionist and you might want to keep hold of that?
To a degree, I'll let people create some content, but I generally have like the last say in it. And again, like I'll maybe give people the running of like the shop channel or like the salon channel, But if I look at it, if I go in on one day and I'm thinking, what the fuck is that shit? I'm not happy about it. But I'm not like a tyrant boss where I'm going, this isn't good enough. I'm like, right, okay, I didn't like this photo because this and this. So you need to change the lighting on it. You need to crop that bit, type of thing. But if later down the line they're still not getting it, they're not the right person, because that's the job basically.
In terms, do you ever like? Because, I mean, it must be hard to be consistently on a daily, on the hourly, funny, just think of relatable, funny female observations, you know what I mean? The sort of what's part and parcel of Scousebird. So do you have like a writer's room where you bounce ideas off each other and then you'll...
No, we don't. I mean, to be honest, sometimes I'll come up with like writer's block or anything like that. So then I might just share other people's like memes and things like that. Or, you know... there might be other people who will come up with like tweets and things like that, but we don't sit there and like brainstorm them or anything like that. So
and you just look
blue
to,
sky
like,
thinking.
You just look to like your mates and your family and just everyday for inspiration.
I'll be having conversations with people and I'll just go, oh, that's a tweet. Do you know what I mean?
Try and hang around with funny people all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier like in the beginning because it had never been done before. So everything was a tweet. But now it is a lot harder these days because it's all kind of been done and been said. And there's so many people creating content and that out there that it is a bit saturated. So I tend to focus a lot more now on my videos and things like that and just talking and kind of being a bit funny and a bit relatable while I'm chatting to people rather than rolling out the puns, so to speak.
But you must feel pressure because it's funny.
Yeah.
And you've talked about your podcast as well, which you know is going down the comedy route, going through the issues that you've had in your personal life and in your business life recently. How do you then have you felt more pressure to try and be funny, and maybe you're trying to force it a little bit too much sometimes?
Well, to be honest, like for example with the podcast we were recording like every week. But things have been really difficult in like the last like 6 to 8 weeks sort of. We've had like I've personally had like a really difficult time, and I know Jake's had his own sort of like work commitments and things like that. So when you're not feeling good, it's really hard to be funny. You can't just like turn it on like that. You've got to have that. You've got to feel good yourself in order to make other people feel good and to laugh and things like that. So we haven't recorded the podcast in a while now because I've not been in a great place, and like, you know, we've both been busy, you know, with other things, but it's not by any means over. I'm just self-aware enough to be able to take that step back and go, I don't want to be churning out just shite, basically. Because again, when it's every week, it was really hard to sort of come up with like something every week, because I felt like as fast as we were editing one and getting one out, we were having to record the next one, and I was a bit like this is too much. So we sort of went to like fortnightly, and that like really worked better for us because it is like a comedy thing. Like I don't know any sort of like stand-up comedian out there who could write a new show every 2 weeks. But it does, like me and Jake are really good because we bounce off each other really, really well. We've both got a really similar sense of humour. But like I say, we are on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, and it will be starting up again. It's just a case of when, because we have sat down to record it a couple of times and something's happened. Like one time, like I got a call from Wales to say that my caravan, the awning had fell down in a storm and I need to go and fix it. And I was like, for fuck's sake. And then another time, like the recording equipment was like malfunctions and so on and so forth. So it's coming back soon. I just don't know. I haven't got an exact date. I've literally got 3 episodes sat there all researched, ready to record. But yeah.
What do your family make of it? Because it's not a traditional, well, you sort of like, you know, you look at what your mum and dad thought you'd do as a career, I'm talking generally, and it's like these days, obviously, it's changed so much that they wouldn't anticipate being a social influencer or a blogger or a social personality. What do your family in general make of it?
Well, I mean, at first, I don't think they really got it. But they do now, you know what I mean? They're dead proud and that. My dad still worries about me constantly. Like he's, you know, when I was getting my mortgage, like last year, he was like, you know, what if it all goes away, Steph? Are you going to be, you know, whatever? I was like, Dad, I've been doing it for 7 years. This is literally my longest job I've ever had. So, you know, I'm good. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. So I think that they just accept it now. It is what it is. Like I think they're just proud of it.
Do they follow it? Do they all watch?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll get a thing off my mum saying, well, I didn't like what you put up there. that was it, potty mouth.
I was going to say,
Stop
it's always
swearing,
language of mum and dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, why'd you have to swear?
Yeah, but sometimes as well, like as I say, I find it easier talking on Instagram sometimes than I do to like my friends and family. So sometimes I might put something out there that's a bit difficult, and then it'll start a conversation because my mum will be like, "Oh, I saw that, you're okay," and I'm going, "Yeah, it's just this, that, and the other." So sometimes it'll spark a conversation with them. I don't know, I'm just weird like that. I don't like. I like talking about things, but I don't at the same time. So it's weird.
That's a really good thing about it, though, isn't it? It can be used like that, and you've used it really positively. You know, in sharing things and creating awareness of things that people might have found a little bit difficult to broach, especially on social media, where on Instagram, where there is that pressure for everything to look perfect. Yeah. I mean, I've spoke to people before who've deleted the whole Instagram page just because they weren't happy with something they posted in 2013, or like, do you know what I mean?
And
you think, Jesus, I mean. That's where it's wrong. That's where the moment you start changing your life to fit that.
Yeah.
Is for me when you've got to have a word. Greg and I have spoken a lot recently about. I feel like sometimes with Instagram and stuff like that, as soon as they've got hold of you and you're mindlessly scrolling through shit, that's when you've got to just switch off. And I'll find myself deleting the app. I'll delete the app for like, it could be weeks, could be months, could be days. Because I'll think, whoa, it's as if like it's got hold of me. Sometimes
I'd love to do that, but I do feel a bit beholden to it sometimes because it is my job. And I feel like if I'm deleting an app or whatever, I can't because it's my job. It's like you're going in to like work one day and just saying, I don't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? You can't do it. So sometimes I do like when I just lash my phone. And sometimes, like, especially when I'm going through like a difficult time or, you know, whatever, or I am getting trolled or whatever, I do just want to like retreat from the world and get rid of it, but I can't. I don't have that luxury, so I've kind of just got to get like my big girl head on and just go deal with it. Do you do yoga and meditation and stuff like that? I have done. I do quite like yoga. I can't meditate. I don't know how anyone can switch the mind off. I don't get it. I can't do it. But I do. I go to Reiki. Okay. Which is like a energy sort of healing type thing. So I've never been religious, but I've always been spiritual, and I believe in all that 100%. Like, I mean, off air before we were talking about ghosts, weren't we? So yeah, I'm into all that. So I go to Reiki, and honestly, that's helped me massively because I don't like taking like medication and things like that for anxiety. I really don't like medication at all. So I think personally that the human body and the human brain can do things that we don't understand and we can't see, and just because we can't see them or understand them doesn't mean that they're not real. So I'm obsessed with that stat, and I'm probably massively paraphrasing it, but isn't it like we only use 30% of the potential of our brains? Yeah, exactly. So there's got to, if that's a medically accepted fact, then there's got to be a lot of leeway for things like just ancient spiritual things. Put it this way, we're all made up of atoms. Like, that table's made up of the same stuff as like me or you. Yeah. But we're just it's all just vibrating on different frequencies and things like that. So if everything around us is stuck together via energy, if you can somehow manipulate that energy, can you change things? Yeah, I mean, Reiki's like, you know, energy healing and things like that. But if you go and further with it, with like the law of attraction and things like that, like, you know, does it go wider than just like attracts like? So if you're like, because what is a thought? Like, a thought is energy, and so if you're putting a certain thought out there, and like attracts like, whatever you're thinking about, you're attracting to you. So I put a lot of that into my business as well. So if I want something to happen, I'll think about it and bring it to me. Noel Edmonds' cosmic ordering territory? I'm saying that being a bit smug, but there's actually a logic to that as well, isn't there, in terms of what you're saying? Like The Secret and power and things like that. Like, I read The Secret years ago, and I couldn't really put it into practice. Like, I didn't understand it. It tells you sort of like what to do, but it didn't kind of really explain how to do it. And then I read The Power, which is like the following on to that. It's just like the sequel to it. And that kind of tells you how to put it into practice. And I swear to God, I read that, and within a couple of months, Scousebird happened. And everything, like, my entire life has completely changed since reading that book. The Power. Yeah. And I mean, like, every single thing, my finances, my career, my relationships, like everything in my life changed after I read that book. And I've had too many coincidences happen to me that I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I believe I've attracted it to me. Like the one that I always use, because it's the most obscure one, is about jelly beans. And I was thinking one day about how much I love jelly beans. Like I was like, oh, I haven't had them for ages. I love jelly beans. And I am not messing. The next day, the jelly bean company got in touch with me and said, we want to send you some jelly beans. I mean, come on.
Wow.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like loads of stuff like that happens.
And I always think, I'm not going to diss it. I always think if you can find something that works for you, you know, and I believe in sort of good energy attracts good energy, and good people attract good people. But, you know, the thing is with The Secret and stuff like that, people take stuff like that far too logically and don't want to put the work in to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and they think, well, you know, I feel overweight and I want to get fit. But, well, unless you start eating better and go in the gym, you've still got to put the work in. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's not... in the wrong hands, it can be misinterpreted.
They're not shortcuts, are they? But I think if you read it, and as you say, like really kind of grasp it, and then apply it, then if it works for you.
But it's a case of, again, with that, people might really like hate going to the gym.
Yeah.
But then if they sort of reprogram the mind to think positively about the gym, then the gym becomes a positive experience, and therefore they then lose weight. So it's one of those things that it's just the way you think about it. Don't necessarily think about how it's going to happen, but just it's replacing your negative thoughts with positive ones, and then from that you start loving a certain situation and you improve a certain situation. That's just how I feel about it. And
with the Reiki, are you good at because Reiki, am I badly getting healers? You can heal, well, you can apply heat through your hands, that's right.
It's not so much heat. I mean, people feel it in different ways. Yeah, it's energy. You don't get touched. Like some people will feel a heat. Some people will feel like a buzzing. Yeah. Some people will see colours. Some people will see, oh God, all sorts of things. Like I feel it as like a buzzing sort of thing. And like obviously you've got like your aura around you. And if you have like a lot of negativity attached to your aura, kind of shrinks. And the Reiki can kind of remove that bad energy. I mean, I know there'll be people out here who aren't spiritual, probably rolling their eyes right now, but you know, shove up your ass, this isn't for you. So, but when I'm like lying there and he's doing the Reiki on me, I can literally feel my aura expanding. It's the weirdest thing because it feels like you're sinking into the bed, but like your head goes, it's the weirdest sensation, and I can't explain it. You have to like experience it for yourself. I
think you've got to be open-minded about stuff. Personally, you just got to, like, if it's for you and you're open-minded about it, okay, if it doesn't work or you don't feel you can get into it, like meditation, for example. I like meditation, and I agree, it's so difficult, but it's like, it's a skill, so you've got to work at it, and I'm shit at it as well, but I do find a value in it. But I reckon there's, if you can apply like you do there and like give it consistency to it, and if it makes you feel better, even if it is, in the grand scheme of things, all these things are a bit of placebo effect to a degree. It's got to be worth trying.
There is, but my point being, you've got to,
even the
you've got to be
placebo
disciplined.
effect is like kind of proof of the law of attraction, because if they believe that medication is helping them, there's literally nothing in that medication other than the belief in their mind, and it heals them. And that surely the placebo effect is proof.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the same page as you with regard to, I think people are medicated far too quickly. Yeah. Because it's easy, you know, and unfortunately the quality in GP services declines. So someone goes in there with a list of problems and they just want to medicate it, even if it's not a physical ailment. Yeah. If it's easy, you know, grief. People are medicating grief, and grief's a natural thing that we've all got to go through.
You've got to feel it to heal it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I'm totally on the same page as you with regard to that. The thing is with the Secret and stuff like that, just to go back into that, what you said before, you've still got to have a certain amount of discipline to even stick to that. To go to the Reiki person every single week, it requires discipline, and discipline is what brings
you've got to really want
results.
You've got to want it, because it doesn't you don't get it straight away. It doesn't happen straight away, but once you've got it, it starts happening straight away. Then it's all about your belief system, and once you get into it, you can attract things and you can change things very, very quickly. But you literally have to change the habit of a lifetime though to get into it, because we're almost programmed to think negatively about things, because if you're going to be late for something, in your head you're thinking, I don't want to be late, I don't want to be late, I don't want to be late, and that's negative. What you should be thinking is, I want to be on time, I want to be on time, I want to be on time. So it's changing that negativity in your head and turning it around into the positive. And it's like, it's literally, people can spend their whole lives doing that, and to suddenly say you've got to change the whole way you think.
Difficult.
It's difficult.
Learn behaviours.
Yeah.
It'll never happen overnight, will it?
No.
That's what you say. You've got to have that consistency.
You've got to, like, some people will do it for like a couple of days and then go, it doesn't work, and they'll give up on it. But then some people will really try for it, and then that's when things change. Because, like, say, when I read The Secret, it didn't really work for me. I couldn't get my head around it. But when I read The Power, it sort of gave me a how-to, and then I stuck with it then. Is
there a book in you? Do you like, because you're a writer, do you want to do more long-form stuff? Do you want to do
no, can't be asked. I'm very...
Attention span?
No, yeah, I've got a very short attention span.
So the medium suits you, basically, yeah?
Yeah. Nice short little bursts. That's me.
Blogs, tweets.
Blogs, videos, tweets. That's me.
Okay. Steph, well, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in.
Now, I bet you this took like a bit of a different direction than what you thought it was going to
do. That's what it's about. Yeah. That was the aim, just having good chats with good people like yourself. And thank you, and best of luck with the podcast and with the businesses. And I'm sure you'll smash it. And I can, with that talk at the end there, I can see a new Twitter profile, Scouse Guru or something.
Do you know what? I was just thinking that.
Scouse Secret. But yeah.
Nice one.
Sounds
amazing.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm going for a scran.
Superb.